Hey everybody, Crystal Johnson from the Millionaire Launchpad. So I wanted to pop in and share something really inspirational that popped up on the local news yesterday, and I think this is a good lesson for entrepreneurs, for high achievers who are not where they want to be yet. So this is for you. Keep listening to this story. So most of y'all, maybe if you're not in the Texas area, I think she's expanded a lot, but Kendra Scott, she started in Austin, Texas, and she creates really pretty, elegant stone-like jewelry, and she was on the local news. And kind of a side note, just so you know, this month, March, was my birthday month, and any time of the month you can get half off Kendra Scott. So anyway, I've been meaning to order my jewelry piece for half off from Kendra Scott, who I love for several reasons. And anyway, it was so funny because yesterday the news reminded me, oh, I still have to order my Kendra Scott. But what happened was they told the story of how she got started, and I literally started crying my booty off as they were telling the story, and my husband looks at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. Just seeing entrepreneurs and women specifically go after what they want and make it happen, and then empower other women and employ other women, just like makes my heart sing. So listen to this story, okay? So she got started back in 2002, and she only had $500. So she started with $500 in a spare bedroom in Austin, Texas, starting to tinker with making jewelry, right? Hello. So she only had $500. She started back in 2002. And it wasn't until 2005 that she got recognized by some runway. I don't remember the names. I'm not really into design and all of these things. But it was 3 years later that her jewelry was featured on a runway. So not much happened. And then 2007, she was featured in another runway, meaning her jewelry was featured in the runway. So that just means, you know, the models are wearing whatever jewelry. It was not until 2010 that she opened up her first retail store. So how many years is that, y'all? 2002 to 2010, that's 8 years. 8 years. And so back in 2002 when she started, this is Kendra Scott I'm talking about, hello, she only had $500, and she went to store to store to store to store, walking down the street to every boutique and trying to get them to sell her jewelry, right? And she kept going and she kept going. But guess what? 2002 to 2010, 8 years. 8 years, y'all. Now in 2018, she has over 75 retail stores, and she is valued, the company is valued at over $1 billion. And how did it all start, y'all? $500 and an idea and commitment and dedication. And just kept going. I want to share a similar story that actually parallels this, not jewelry, but it's my own personal story for more inspiration for y'all. Because here's the thing, so many of y'all, let me tell you why I'm sharing this with you. So many of us entrepreneurs, specifically women entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurs in general too, is you get started in your business, your first 6 months, your first year, your first 2 years, your first 3 years, and you get discouraged and you're like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I want to be. I don't care. You keep going, because you starting at zero, you could be the next $1 billion company, right? That employs women. You just have to have a deep enough reason why. Okay? And I feel like in entrepreneurship, we can get a little jaded because we see everyone like make 6 figures in 6 months, blah, blah, blah. It all becomes about money. But money, it's not that motivating, especially for, yes, we need money, but that's not our core, I found, okay? So let me explain to you and kind of parallels with Kendra Scott's story. So I got started back in creating my $1 million net worth back in 2009. What happened in 2009? I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It was a paradigm shift. That's what I call that. Because Robert Kiyosaki he taught me that I didn't have to work for someone for the rest of my life, right? He taught me that job is just over broke, right? He told me that investing and creating businesses is how I'm going to create true wealth, true freedom, true fulfillment in my life. But guess what? To that point, everything I was taught was go get a good education, climb the corporate ladder, go through all the hoops, get into upper management, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't for me. And so when I read that book and that paradigm shift back in 2009, I was like, okay, I choose real estate. I'm going to choose that as my vehicle to work for myself, to have money coming in so nobody controls me. If I want to quit, I can quit. So 2009, y'all, I did not get my first property because I saved, I learned, I networked. I didn't get my first property until 2012. So what is that? 9, 10, 11, 12. 3 years later. So I had the paradigm shift and I didn't do anything until 3 years later. Okay, fast forward in 2017, I got a little lucky, but here's the thing, and I did the work and I invested in real estate. I have 7 rental properties. The values went up in the area and now it's over $1 million net worth. 8 years later. It didn't happen in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 8 years. 8 years. So many of us entrepreneurs are so impatient. And that's me too. We're so impatient, y'all. But here's the reason why with the real estate I went. It was a deeper reason even than the money. To tell you all the truth, the money doesn't matter. Now I'm like, what's my next deeper purpose why? Because right now I honestly feel kind of lost because it's like I had that flow and that purpose and that passion when I was doing the real estate. And here's why, y'all. I had a deep reason. I had a reason why, and it was compelling. And the reason was I want to quit my job. I want to quit this corporate job where I'm stressed out and high pressure. I was in high pressure sales. I made a lot of money, but at that point it didn't matter anymore, right? I even remember when I quit, my boss was like, well, don't you want to save up more money? I'm like, I don't need no more money. I quit, right? And they try to keep me around. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's like that freedom and creating that. But here's the thing. 8 years. So many of us in business were like, and Kendra Scott, it was even longer. It was 8 years till she got her first retail store. 8 years. Here's the lesson, y'all. Y'all are all impatient because I'm impatient. Keep going and have a deep reason why. Because if you don't have a deep reason why, you're going to stop. You're going to flounder. You're not going to be as committed. So if you don't have a core anchor because it's not always easy. It's not. It's so much personal development. It's so much overcoming fear and resistance, really working on ourselves to get us to where we want to go. And you got to have that deeper reason why. So personally, to be candid with you, I'm looking for that again. Almost when we're really successful, we can kind of hit a, cultural society success. And it's like, okay, been there, done that. Because people are like, why don't you go back to real estate? I'm like, I have no desire to go back to real estate because real estate was just about the money. It served its purpose. It allowed me to quit my job. Now it's something bigger. Now it's something outside of myself, right? The real estate was more selfish, right? It was more like, this is so I can quit my job. This is so I can find my purpose. This is so I can find my passion. This is so I can have freedom. And now it's bigger and it's scarier for me and I was talking to a coach and it's basically like, it was all private. The real estate was private. I just did it behind the scenes. I didn't have to come out. I didn't have to share my story. I didn't have to be vulnerable. I didn't have to worry about if people thought I was inspirational or not, or educational or not, or getting judged. It's a whole new level. And so to be candid, especially if you come from the corporate world, in my opinion, it takes time to take off these layers. Okay, it takes time, and to figure out what your core is, your core deep reason why, your bigger level why. So bottom line, the lesson is, the takeaway from these stories with Kendra Scott, starting with $500, and it took her 8 years to open up her first retail store, and me in 2009 having a paradigm shift and saying, I don't want to work for someone the rest of my life. It took me 8 years to create that $1 million net worth. That is really not a big deal, y'all, because it's all tied up and it's just, I don't know, people get so caught up with it. It's not as big of a deal. Once you hit it, you're like, okay. Because for me and for us, for people like us that are growth minded, it's not about the money. Seriously, it's not. Beyond your basic needs, It's more about, I want to feel alive. I want to feel like I'm making an impact. I want to feel excited. I want to feel flow, because now we're going up Maslow's hierarchy, right? So it's beyond the money at this point, and that can be a little bit more scarier to find that deeper why. But the point is, you got to keep going. Have a deep why and keep going. You know, it's so interesting to me, the people that go the biggest actually struggle the most, in my opinion, right? When they're on their path, like, all of that wonder are not lost, right? I find that the people that struggle the most, they blow up and they come out of nowhere 8 years later, right? Where'd she come from? Oh, she's just been working behind the scenes on herself, overcoming fear, overcoming doubt, figuring out what her deeper core why is, figuring out really who she is, what she believes in, so she can stand up, or he can stand up, and they can present that in a way that's compelling, and people can feel that energy, right? So stick to it. Be committed. You're 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in your business, and you're still not where you want to be. Okay, keep going. Where's the gap? What skill sets do you need to learn? Get someone else to get eyes on your business, to get eyes on your mindset, to get eyes on what's holding you back. Because here's the thing, y'all, we all have negative patterns and habits. We're creatures of habits. And even on our thinking, it just becomes negative thinking habits, right? So, I'm really getting more into like confidence, because I was thinking about what got me going with the real estate. I didn't know all the how. I didn't know all the strategies. I didn't really know how to invest in real estate. I just decided, I committed, and I had a strong reason why and a strong paradigm shift, and it just happened. So if you are always feeling like you're forcing things, you probably don't have a deep enough reason why, or you're slightly off in what you're doing, okay? So I've been doing a ton of inner work, introspection. I've noticed some things, and I'm going to share this with y'all because I think it's powerful and important. So I'm getting off on tangents. Basically, the point is, shit takes time. If you are committed and you keep going, you can be the next $1 billion company, or whatever, $1 million company, 6-figure, 7-figure coach, whatever you want, if you keep going. And honestly, like I said before, I find that the people that struggle the most, but keep going, are the biggest ballers, because they can relate to people more deeply. Because those who get instant success, which is pretty rare, to be honest with you, but people who get quote unquote instant quick success can't relate as much to the struggle. So I'm almost like, thank you for the struggle, God, because I can relate to people on a deep level. I can understand what happens. I can understand how difficult it is. I can understand when you're wanting to do something great, when you're wanting to find your purpose, when you're wanting to live on purpose, when you're wanting to make a big impact, and you got to really understand yourself. Man, it's a journey and a process, and you gotta enjoy that journey and that process. So I feel like I could just keep talking all day, y'all, but have an amazing rest of your day. Happy Easter, early Easter, and I'm gonna go enjoy time with the family. So, and if you're not already, come join us in the Millionaire Launchpad Facebook group. It's free and it's fun because it's like big thinkers, right? It's people that get a strong core, deep why, the confidence that you need, the commitment, the kahunas to keep going when things aren't where you want them to be, okay? That's just life. We all have this elevator mentality because of our culture. Like, oh, you have a headache, pop a pill. Oh, you want to lose weight? Go get bypass surgery, right? We all want this quick thing. Guess what, though? Entrepreneurship, success, it's not a quick thing. It's a process. It's a journey. Start to love the process. Start to love the journey, and it's going to feel a lot better. But we're all focused on, like, this outward thing. You got to learn to join the process of getting there and see how are you getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better every single day, okay? It's not always about the outcome. It's about the small things, the small improvements, okay? Thanks for the heart. Okay, y'all have an amazing rest of your day. I'm going to get out of here. Hey, Angela. And happy Easter. Okay, bye.